What is up, Watch fam? Happy Monday and welcome to Rant&h. I am Christian from Theo and Harris, and today we're going to be jumping into my thoughts, not so much on Bulgari, on a Bulgari watch, and what I think it means for the larger world of collaboration, particularly in the watch industry. So before we do so, let's get into a quick wristwatch check. I am wearing a beautiful Rolex reference 16018. It's in yellow gold. It has a brown, like a tannish originally, but faded to almost invisible Buckley dial. It's really beautiful. This watch will eventually be for sale at theoandharris.com, but for right now, it is not. But we have six or seven new watches hitting the watch up tomorrow, from Rolex, Tudor, two Omegas, Universal Genève, and more. I've got a lot of stuff. I'm really excited. So let's get into today's episode. Okay, let's start off here. I am an enormous fan of Bulgari. Truly, it's an old Italian brand that I have distaste for so long. Many of their watches were, not interesting at all. They were kind of flashy pieces that rode the coattails of their famous jewelry lines. I feel like people who are in Bulgari and fans of Bulgari for gold and for diamonds or whatever they were buying eventually said, oh yeah, let's throw in a watch. Or they associated the watch quality with the quality of the jewelry, and really the correlation wasn't so much there. Bulgari watches may have been fine, but geez, they were not respected or admired. More so, they were not admired in the watch world forever, and they were extremely expensive. So Bulgari laid this extensive foundation of, being a not interesting watch company, being a company that wasn't really a contender. I don't know what, like, sales-wise they were doing, if they were making a lot of money, I have no idea. But I do know that many of their watches, the residual value was garbage. They were getting no press, no respect. But now in retrospect, that set them up perfectly for a comeback. And that's exactly what they're doing. Bulgari, particularly with their Octo, and specifically the Octo Finissimo, or the Octo of Finissimo Velocissimo, there are so many different models now, whether that's a mint repeater, or a tourbillon, or a regular time only, or a sub-second, or a chronograph. They have built a wonderful line. Watches that are extremely well finished, originally designed, and powered by respectable movements, whether that's from the Zenith El Primero down to an in-house ultra-thin caliber, which is now the thinnest automatic caliber in the world. So Bulgari's killing it. Their watches may all kind of look very similar because it's within the same model line, but geez, at I think $13,000, the Octo Finissimo automatic with a platinum rotor in-house move, I mean, it blew away Piaget on thinness. So they're building a very, very serious line of watches. So I've been very, very hot on Bulgari, and I love this whole underdog, movement that's been happening over the course of the last probably 2 or 3 years, but really noticeably in the last year. So then I was scrolling through Watch News, and I've seen a couple of reviews of their Octo Velocissimo collaboration with Maserati. And it got a lot of positive reviews, and I just kind of wanted to show this to you guys because I really don't like it at all. And to see Bulgari do it it really pissed me off. We'll start here. It's a good watch. It has all of the merit that I admire in the rest of the Bulgari Octo lines. Very well designed, constructed, and finished cases, top quality movements. This is by Zenith El Primero, and relatively attractive pricing at 12 grand. The automatic does way better at 13, but even at 12, I could swallow an El Primero, I can swallow an El Primero chronograph with case design, like this. My problem here is in the meshing or the meeting of the worlds, that Bulgari is a watch company, Maserati is a car company, but instead of thinking about a way to integrate them in a way that made sense, that was organic, that brought the best of Bulgari and the best of Maserati and put it in a watch, they just rebranded something, and I hate that. I hate that so much because it takes Bulgari a step back. I mean, this is a brand that was kind of famous for putting out kind of bullshit watches for so long, and now they're on the right track. Mind you, this release was 2 years ago, but still, it's within the rebirth of their brand. So within the last 2 years and this rebirth of Bulgari, they've still produced something that I think is total cop-out of originality. I'm trying to really go on the offense about Bulgari and tell everyone how great they're doing, and although this, like I said, this was a while ago, but it still was within this new era of their brand. And the only reason that this topic is surfacing now is because, blogs have started to pick them up and do hands-on reviews. So this seemingly old news is resurfacing, and it all of a sudden becomes new again. So all of a sudden, this looks like it was a production that came out 3 weeks ago. But when you have millions and millions of watch readers and viewers looking and consuming this content, I just feel like it trivializes so much of the legitimacy that Bulgari is trying to put together. Looking a little closer in, the only elements here that represent Maserati is the trident on the second hand and the blue dial. Apart from that, really, what did they do? So not only does it kind of not trivialize, but devalue, in my opinion, what Bulgari deems as worth making. But even for Maserati, I mean, I suppose there are people out there driving Gran Turismos that are kind of douchey that say, you know what, I want my watch, to match my coupe. In which case, okay, fine. But I think at this scale, when you're building a serious company, I just don't think you should be picking off the easy sale on that. It comes off as the cheapest way to make a buck when there is so much legacy and heritage and real respect on both of these companies. And so I think it absolutely devalues the brand as a whole. I mean, really, you're gonna trivialize, you're gonna jeopardize what I think of your brand for a couple thousand units of a watch. I mean, it seems so short-sighted. As my dad would kind of always say, it's penny wise and dollar foolish. And I'm very disappointed in Bulgari. But to step back and to look at this from a more industry-wide perspective, Bulgari certainly isn't the only and certainly isn't the worst perpetrator of this. So I think that all of these companies, whether that's Bulgari, whether that's Omega in so many instances, whether that's Hublot or I'm sure so many other of the luxury brands just looking to make a limited edition and sell them quickly, even though they add nothing to the actual franchise value of a brand. They should take a page out of the playbook from Restoration Hardware, for example. I know that's totally dissimilar to a different industry, but I loved their aviation collection. Right? They were integrating actual design elements, whether that was almost like the steel paneling from an airplane, on furniture. It made sense. They weren't putting a Boeing stamp on leather. They were taking an element that was so unique to an industry and to a design, and they were integrating that, with what they do. That was, in my opinion, respect and well thought out execution of a collaboration. And actually, Restoration it wasn't even a collaboration. They just took from a different industry. They didn't even do a collaboration with Boeing, but it just could have easily been. It could have been a collaboration with Pan Am, and it could have been executed perfectly as it was. So that is, to me, the best example of how these watch brands should be doing, cross-contamination throughout industries. A Ferrari with a denim interior, stamped Levi's. That would make sense. It's something I would drive? No, probably not. That'd be ridiculous. But nonetheless, there's something that makes sense there. Ferrari, although I'm sure they have, I'm sure everyone kind of knows they have wonderful leather work, but it's the car, it's the machine inside. And Levi's does the denim. So this would be a sensible contamination between industries. So no, I don't like this Maserati Velocissimo by Bulgari. I think it's stupid. And really, the only reason I'm talking about it is because I'm so into Bulgari. I'm so interested in their success over the course of the next 5, 6, 7, 10 years, that when this surfaced again, when this watch came, to the light, 3 years later, I was just like, shit, that was stupid. Just for 2,000 watches, you cheapened your brand. Really? But that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching Rant&h. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. We have amazing 6 or 7 new amazing watches hitting the watch shop tomorrow, bright and early, as well as a new episode of Lug to Lug. So stay tuned. Adios.